So welcome everybody. Hopefully we'll have another couple of people show up in the midst of all of this as well. But I'm very grateful to have people who have participated and people who have not participated before in this gathering. So the Southern Lights Conference. What is the Southern Lights Conference? It is a conference that has been going on for probably close to 20 years. It was not originally called Southern Lights. It was called something else that I don't know. I can't remember, but it is basically born out of a friendship between Diana Butler Bass and Brian McLaren. Diana Butler Bass and Brian McLaren are very well respected authors. Brian McLaren is a pastor and theologian. Diana Butler Bass is an historian and theologian. They both do a lot of work, have written multiple books, and come at the Christian faith from the perspective that we do here at Third. That's a progressive perspective. And that is really looking at Jesus and what God did through him on earth as a means to transforming life in positive, inclusive, open ways. So they started this conference, and kind of one of their goals was to utilize their notoriety, the fact that people who knew who they were, to begin to help young authors and theologians and historians and musicians to be elevated in a way that would get them on the front page of as they are. So that's how what their sort of intended purpose was. They always hold it at Epworth by the Sea. And as you can see, this coming 2026, this coming year, it's always held sort of the end of January. This is a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, end of January, down in Georgia, on the water. It's literally on an island, and even though it will be nicer than it is here in January, I was just bemoaning the winter coming for those of you who aren't here yet. It will not be like bring your bathing suit weather. So just warn you that it's lovely. You can take a walk along the water, but it will be probably in the 40s and 50s. And so you do want to still bring your jacket, and, not plan on gorgeous, but still much nicer than here, and probably a little bit more sun than here. So I want to just show you a little bit. This is the website that you can find all the information that I'm going to talk about on. It is the Southern Lights website. It is literally southernlightsconference.com. So once you get to southernlightsconference.com, you can find everything we're going to talk about today, because it's all, I'm going to utilize the website. I told Chris I'd been thinking about maybe I would build a PowerPoint. And then I went, why am I going to spend hours building a PowerPoint when it's right here and I can just share it with you right here? So you're seeing shots from last year. That's Diana Butler Bass. Let's see if I can scroll down just so you. Nope, that's the whole of it. So there's Brian McLaren on the left. In the center, what's his name? The African-American author and poet. And then on the right was Mihi Kim Port, who's Presbyterian. No, she's a Presbyterian pastor who just moved into being, I went to seminary with her there on the right. And she was that's Diana Butler Bass from, sort of the mouth down. Solvig to the left is a singer. There's music, there's worship, there's conversations, there's panel discussions all across the breadth. So I'm going to show you the venue, which is beautiful. So this is St. Simon's Islands, Epworth by the Sea. Epworth by the Sea is a Methodist camp and conference center. This is in a nicer time of year than we're going to be there, just so you know. It will not be that, but there will be palm trees. It will be greener than it is here. And they have lots and lots of buildings on the site, in addition to what you're seeing there, including several motels, hotels, places to stay. So we stay right on campus. You can see a few of them right here. There's a multi-story lodging with balconies that you see. This is actually right on the water. These were not the ones we stayed in, although Pat Gray and Beth Laidlaw stayed in them. These are a little bit further away from where we stayed. I intentionally chose the hotels that are, so this is the inside of the conference area. I intentionally chose and will choose again the motel hotel that is right across the street from the conference center, from the where the cafeteria is. So it's just easy for people who may struggle with mobility more to get where they need to go. But where you saw the water, I mean, it is literally a 5-minute walk. It is not far. And I also get us a discount, a group discount for the rooms together. So if you want to stay in those rooms, you would speak with me, let me know. I mean, like I said, Beth Laidlaw and Pat Gray chose to stay at a little bit fancier accommodation right on the water, and to pay whatever the full price was for that. If you choose to stay in the other location and walk 5 minutes to see the water, it feels to me like that's just a better way for us to all assure that we're together. And in reality, there is some free time, but there's not a whole lot. It's a pretty packed agenda, as Nancy and Rob can attest. So there you can see there's a few hundred people that show up. Out of the few hundred people that come, I'm trying to see if they've got any other picture of the lodging. You will note that probably, say 75% of them, tell me if you think I'm wrong, are lay people. This is not a pastor's conference. It is a conference to which pastors come, and there are not an insignificant number of us. I mean, if there are 300 people, there are 75 of them are pastors, but 225 are laity. It is a broad conference that has Presbyterians, Methodists, Episcopalians, Quakers. I don't know. There's a breadth of denominations there. Most of them are from the South or the Southern tier, which is kind of interesting and lovely, because I think we think up here in the North that everybody in the South is a red state, supporter of the current administration. And in reality, we are all purple. This country is purple. And there are people who are struggling with what's going on currently in our country in every state in the union. My family is from Arkansas. And my brother and his wife now live in Tennessee. And they did not vote for the current administration. None of them, not my mother, my sister, my nephews and nieces, and all of them are wishing things were other than they are now. And so one of the lovely things about this is that you really get to meet and hear from people who are from all over the country, but I think a predominant segment of them are from sort of the South and the Southeast. Good morning, welcome, Ronan. I'm a little ways in talking about the conference and showing where it is located, so you can go, oh, that's really beautiful, and it would be nice to be there in February. So this year, the speakers right there, you can see Brian McLaren signing books. So Brian McLaren and Dinah Butler Bass are the ones who sort of bring this conference together. These are our keynote speakers for this year. Jamar Tisby, the Reverend Dr. Jennifer Harvey, Rabbi Ora Rose, and Rosemary Watola Tromer, who is Indigenous and a poet. So there's always this kind of breadth where you're gonna be able to hear from people who have a variety of experiences, but are deeply sound in their theology. So we'll start with Jemar Tisby. Jemar has done a lot of work in anti-racism. And as you could just see, so I clicked on Jemar, and then at the bottom it says view Jemar's website. So if you want more information than you hear from me today, all you gotta do is go to southernlightsconference.com, and all of this information is there. So he's got a book out right now called The Spirit of Justice, but he's written others as well. And I'm going to scroll down to just a little brief trailer on how to fight racism, so that you can see and hopefully hear, if I did it right, this little very brief.
Where I go, from colleges to conferences, from congregations to the comments section. Everywhere I go, from colleges to conferences, from congregations to the comments section, the most frequent question I get on the topic of race is this: what do we do? That tells me there's a generation of people right now who understand that racism is not just a problem of the past, but a persistent issue in the present as well. Maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you've been spurred to action by learning the sordid history of racism in this nation. Or maybe you've been ignited by the recent protests and uprisings against racism and white supremacy. Or maybe you recognize the fierce urgency of now, and you want to be part of the solution. If that sounds familiar, then How to Fight Racism is for you. We have some great books that explain racism. But then what? How do you actually take action to fight against it? Well, this book prioritizes the practical. Every chapter is filled with concrete actions that are based in research and real-world examples. My hope is that reading How to Fight Racism is an exercise in prophetic imagination, a way to envision a world where racism doesn't hold so much power. We're living in the next era of the civil rights movement. Now is the time, and today is the day to fight racism and take the next step on the journey toward racial justice.
So there, Jemar is obviously plugging his book, but you do get a sense of who he is, what he sounds like, what he has to share. The video to the right of it, The Color of Compromise, is actually a 45-minute talk he gives. So if you want to literally, oh, good morning, Sue, I didn't see you come in. And I noticed there's a bunch more people online as well. Welcome to everybody there. So if you want to find out more, this is where you go to find it. Is you click on the site that's, tells you about him, and then you're able to find out a little bit more in that context. I'm trying to go kind of get out of here. Okay, so here we are, back to the Southern Lights conference website. Okay, so you see a little bit more about him, about who he is, about where he comes from, about the books that he has written, and that sort of thing. So we can go back, and you see once again our four speakers. The Reverend Dr. Jennifer Harvey is also invested in this type of work. And as you can see, what her foci are, the books that she's written, the information that she shares about herself. She's a graduate from my alma mater, which, and then at the bottom, you can also go and once again take you to hers, and we'll let you know where she's speaking, what she's doing, and that kind of thing. She does not have a video on this site, but there is a lot more information about her. So maybe I just did the wrong thing. I'm gonna go back to here. I X'd out of this instead of
what I meant to. So speakers and artists, again, we go down, and there's Rabbi Or Rose, who is, the director of the Betty Ann Greenbaum Miller Center for Interreligious Learning and the leadership of the Hebrew College. So we've got a breadth here. You have, and once again, you can go down. I'm not going to because I've been on his site and it doesn't have a video for us, but you know how to, oh, he doesn't have, that's what it is. It doesn't have a site. Let's go on to Rosemary Watola Tromer. Rosemary Watola Tromer does a poem a day in her, and you can sign up to do that. I think I've actually heard Melinda Gaudioso talk about this, but if you go down, so she's a poet, she does a podcast. There's more you can find out about her through her books of poetry. You can support her work. And then 100 Falling Veils is her poem a day site. So I just clicked on it. And here is the poem today as it all comes down from September 13th. So this came yesterday. On the day his brother died, we walked, mostly silent. The old aspen trees were tall and dead. In a meadow, we found a single yellow flower where almost all else was brown. The air carried the wild scent of elk, dank, sweet, and the wind made of dry grass an epiphany of sound. But it was the quiet landscape inside us that was most changed. In a voice so bare I could hardly hear, he said, "These are the days that bring us closer together." So that gives you a little flavor of her. I can tell you that in past conferences, I have heard other authors read their work and it's just been powerfully moving. So that is just yet another gift. Let's see, I want to go here. So those are the speakers this year. In addition to, of course, our leaders, Dinah Butler Bass and Brian McLaren and Robin Nancy can also attest that they do prepare a speech as well or a talk as well. And so you are hearing from them. They will lead panel discussions. Here is what the schedule is looking like. If you choose to go in person, they do have a hybrid option. So you can attend in hybrid format, although you don't get necessarily everything. And from what I have heard from people who have done that, the in-person option is just much more compelling, which I think we've pretty much found out about life everywhere, right? If you can be there, it's a good thing. So they start with registration on that Friday morning, but really things don't start until 2 p.m. Last year, and I would imagine this year as well, we would fly out in the morning and arrive in time for lunch, which is included when we purchase. They do hotel as room and board, so you don't have to worry about food, which is really a nice thing. It is always a buffet, which means there's way too much of it. They will do special needs if you are a vegetarian, if you have gluten issues. They take all of those things into account and will care for you if you advise them, if we advise them in advance. They do ask for that sort of thing. So there's the welcome with Brian and Diana. Then there are the sessions you see where there are little breaks. And then in the next day, there's sort of optional morning activities and meditation. Really, when things begin are at I'm surprised there's break and then for 2 hours and then session 5. Yeah, I think there's something missing there because we go from session 3 in the evening. I think there's supposed to be a session from 9:30 to probably 10:30 or 10:45. That's session 4. Then a lunch break, then a speaker panel. They do give you free time so you can wander. You can also go purchase books because, you know, that's what authors do is you purchase their books and get them to sign them in the evenings. This will be my third time. They have had concerts. There was one in which I had no idea Brian McLaren is actually a musician as well. You could get up there, Rob, with them. You could bring your guitar in and sing along. But there's some sort of a special event. I don't know what they're planning, but there you have it. And then in the morning, you go through lunch. So, and then we would we would drive back to either Savannah or Jacksonville, depending on, they're both about equidistant, about an hour from. So if you're coming with me, you would fly with me and we would land in whichever one our travel agents gets us, and then we would drive together to the conference about an hour. And then we would also have cars if we needed them, but we didn't even use them. We never went off site. But like I said, the food is good. It's not like you're going, oh, please take me to a better restaurant. The food is good and there's more of it than you possibly could want. And all of those breaks, there's also food. So, you know, so anyway, that sort of gives you the framework of it. The conference is over. We drove back. I think our plane left maybe around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And we're back home that evening. So you're really only gone from Friday to Sunday. If you go with me, if you make your own way, you make your own way. And obviously we don't charge you for anything you don't make your own way for. I just need to know so that I can book for you. So the last thing I'll go over is sort of how much does this thing cost? And then I'll open for questions. And also how to do it, not just how much does it cost. We get significant discounts for going in a group. So you see up at the top where it says 2026 registration up on the right-hand side, you click on that. And it will take you to the Eventbrite conference location. When you come down, you scroll down and you'll see where it tells you the event and you go, I want to reserve a spot. It will then take you to this where you'll go, okay, I don't want to go virtually. I want to go general admission in person, or you can go virtually if you want. But you'll click however many people you're going to take. You can see where it is $225.93 for a person, but they're churchers. You can go up to the top and enter the code. If you're really interested, I will email this to you, but what it is SL, capital S, capital L for Southern Lights. Third Pres, here's how you know they don't know us. They do 3RD, PRES rather than THIRD, PRES. So it's Southern Lights, SL, Third Pres 26. And then you have to hit apply. I can't tell you how hard this was, right? Did you struggle with it last year? So you gotta look to get the discount, then you click that, apply, and as you go back down, you will see, or you go to the right, you'll see now instead of $225, it's $168. So it is an 181 total. So it is a 20% discount, a significant discount for us to do this together. I mean, if I wanted to, then it's gonna give me 2 people at $350 instead of $451.86. So almost $100 savings if you book this way.
And that includes the conference, the room and
No.
board.
No, this includes the conference only.
Okay.
The conference only. Thank you for the clarification. So the room and board, we also get a discount for that. Last year, a single room, with the discount cost $152 a day. But remember, that's your food and your room. And it came out for 2, because you're there 2 days, 2 nights, right? And it includes all those meals from
Friday lunch.
from Friday lunch to Sunday lunch.
Friday, I don't.
Is it Friday dinner?
Friday dinner.
Friday dinner, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's right. Friday dinner to Sunday lunch. And so that was $361.46 last year. I don't know what it's gonna be this year, but I can't imagine it's gonna be that much more.
So I have a question. So we've registered,
Uh-huh,
I think not for the lodging and food. Do we do
Right.
That through you?
You do that through me. So if you go, I mean, you've already told me
Yeah,
that you're going and that you have registered, and so I've got a spreadsheet where I've got that you're registered and you need me to buy the room, but probably not the airfare. So, and in airfare as well, I do include the cost of the rental car divided up amongst us, so. So, and then on top of that as well, if you're a double is even cheaper. Per person, yeah, so a double is 218.02, which is per night for both of you. So that's 511 total was what it was last year, so $500 for both nights in the room, plus the all of the meals. For two people. So it's 361 if you're a single person, it's 511 if you're two people. And then there's, once again, what are your travel arrangements gonna be? So I think the total last year, depending on whether or not you were a single or a double, ran between $700 and $800. But that's all inclusive. That's your meals, that's your travel, that's your registration, covers everything. I don't even think it got up to 800, although it might this year. I think the highest was like 775 or something like that. Do you remember? I don't remember.
Is that including airfare or not including?
That includes airfare,
Oh.
airfare and rent a car. Once again, this year I have had two people very generously say that they're willing to scholarship as well. So there is that, and are particularly wanting to scholarship younger people. So,
great.
which has been very generous.
I don't see them. The young people. Where are they?
All right, are there any other questions? Although I'll X out of all of this, so, or stop sharing all of this. I see that there's some things to the right in the, I don't know, in the chat. No, Ralph, I don't want Read AI. I wish I had seen that. I think Ralph did that for one meeting he was in, and now it comes up every single time. AI, man, it's a scourge.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So about how many people usually go?
So we've only done this, well, I've done it twice because I went by myself with a girlfriend. And was shocked to find out that Pat Gray, Mary Cowden, and Melinda Gaudioso were really excited about it, although none of them went. So I came back and I said, that was cool. Anybody, would you go if I did it next year again? And they said yes. So we've only been once and there were 15 of us. So, yes, Ron.
I may have missed this one because I was late, but what is the mission? Is this personal spiritual development? Is this something that we're supposed to bring back to the church?
I think both and, I mean, I think it is personal spiritual development. I think people were motivated upon coming back to continue the work that is lifted up. There's also cross-pollination and connections there where people meet each other and do things together afterwards.
Right.
As they feel so called. So I think I think they would love for as much action to come out of this as education. Yeah, right,
And
right.
also at the end, or during the conference, people were interested in connecting with other people from the same region, so they established, you could sign up. And they established groups from the Northeast, the Southeast, Central. And so we were connected with the group. I haven't been active in it, but there have been some emails from the Northeast section. So there are lots of opportunities for doing more, or it can just be a personal experience that you bring back. I think there are options.
Well, when we went to Kenya,
Yeah,
it was very clear that we were expected to promote the Kenya partnership when we returned.
yes.
And we did very joyfully. So I just wondered if that was one aspect of this.
Yeah, one of the things that was fascinating to me about this is that we had done the evening section and the morning session, and when we got to lunch, which was not even halfway through the conference. Everybody at lunch was like, we have to do this again next year. I was very surprised that early, there was that strong a positive response where people really felt like they were gaining a lot out of it. And so here we are, saying we'll do it again next year.
And I think you did a presentation with the church too. I don't know if it was.
I did.
This time or, no, I can't remember when it occurred, but. So we will report back to the church on the experience.
And I think one of the wonderful things about it was the bonding of the group from third with each other. That was a lovely
Yeah.
part of it. Waiting in airports, riding in cars together, sitting at meals together, you know, all of that was just time to really get to know each other in new and different ways, deeper ways. So I think that was one of the beautiful parts of it. And we met we got to know other people that might have been sitting next to or something at the conference. And then you go see them at a meal and they have extra room at their table, so you sit at their table instead of we didn't always sit with each other, often we did. But often also we sat with other people that we got to know, and it was just lovely. It was just a warm, friendly, beautiful time in a beautiful place with like-minded people. It was quite lovely.
Yes.
So I was gonna ask about St. Simon's Island.
Mhm.
Is it a big development or is there lots of walking?
No, there's lots of walking paths, and St. Simon's Island is one of the Gullah Islands, along the coast of Georgia. And the day that we left, we actually had a little extra time before we had to go back to the airport. And so we stopped on a neighboring island that had been at one point homes to the incredibly wealthy, kind of in the Gilded Age era, that are now, they're no longer, they're empty. But there was one massive hotel that people still come to. There was a big marathon race that was being run the day we were there. You know, and so there's this beautiful hotel, sort of this elegant, old Southern charm type of place. But then all these mansions that have since been empty. There's nobody there anymore, but you can walk the grounds. So we found other things. And they sort of had a little village that was a sort of a retreat village that you could wander around. So we got good ice cream, which you know is important. But there was that time as well to sort of just explore the area a little bit. But these are the Gullah Islands along the Georgia coast. And if you've never been there, it's just kind of an interesting historical spot as well. The site itself, the Methodist Camp and Conference Center, is much like a larger camp and conference center that you might find in the Presbyterian Church, like a Stony Brook or a Montreat it's not like a John, what is it, Camp Whitman. Camp Whitman is tiny compared to this. This has multiple lodging spaces. It has a beautiful chapel. It has a museum that you can go and wander for the area. There is a little town outside the gates that you can walk into or drive into if you want to, but mostly, as you can see, if you're arriving sort of right when the conference starts and you're leaving pretty much right after the conference ends, there's not a lot of time to get into the little town.
We're pretty committed to the schedule.
Yeah. And you don't have to go to everything, but you want to, because
Right.
it's so good.
But there's time to put your feet up or go wander around a little bit here and there, but not a
There's a
lot.
good break at the noon time, as I remember, time to eat and but still take a walk.
Yeah. Other questions? Yeah, so if you choose to go, and you can get yourself registered by yourself with the information I've given you, get yourself registered. Let me know, and let me know if you would also like for me to book your rooms with the group discount that I will get to be in the little hotel area. The hotels are Spartan but comfortable, like there's no television. But there will be, if you're a couple, there will be I think a queen size bed.
So
You know, and an ensuite bathroom, and you know, so they're comfortable. If you're there with another person rooming with you, they will have 2 double beds, so you each get one, and an ensuite bathroom, and you know, the amenities that you need. But there's not, it's not like staying in a Hyatt where you're gonna get a big TV and,
A little coffee
Netflix
maker in the
and-
room and stuff.
yeah.
It sounds like Chautauqua.
It is not dissimilar to Chautauqua, it's certainly got that kind of a feel to it,
Yes,
yeah.
it does, yeah. I haven't been to Chicago, but I sense.
Yeah, it's a similar feel, yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested and you can figure out how, after what I've shown you, to register yourself, do, if you need me to help you register, just send me a thing and say, what was that code again? And, and I will send you the link and the code. And then let me know what you want, if you want to get there on your own, or if you want me to book you as part of our group that is flying. I anticipate that I will make those reservations by the end of this month. Last year, we did have 4 people join in later. We had Karen and Don Pryor and Ralph Carter, and I know there were 4. I don't remember who the 4th one was, but I had 4 people who joined sort of after I had already booked. And we managed to still get them on the same flights, and it was a slight amount more. I want to say maybe $25 or $30 a person more. But the earlier you can get in, the better I'll be able to make the price. So. Any other questions? Any questions from the peanut gallery online? Don, I don't know if that's Don only or Don and Karen, but they came with us last time as well. Joan, I sent Mary Alice a message this morning saying she should come because I thought this would be something she would really enjoy. So, potential roommate for you if you decide you want to come.
You won't regret, if you go, you won't regret it. So,
And you will say to yourself, this was worth every cent. That's the way we felt.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of money, but, it's a shot in the arm in some ways for just, feeling good about,
and for what we do here.
right, and for what
we're
we do,
about.
right.
Yeah, I do think it is hopeful to be among other people, more people, a breadth of people across the country who are feeling the way we're feeling. This is a challenging time. There's nobody here who would not say this is a challenging time. And how do we live out our faith in a time like this? And so to have a space where you go and you find out, oh, it's not just Third Presbyterian Church on the corner of East Avenue and Megza in Rochester, New York, that cares about these things, that cares about anti-racism, that cares about inclusion of all people, that cares about, building the kingdom on earth right here, right now. It's not just us, it is nationwide. I mean, that feels hopeful,
Yeah.
helpful.
Oh, another really neat thing is about the blind gentleman
Oh,
who's up on the stage, and he's a musician. And he's blind, and he listens to the speaker. And then right afterwards, he starts playing his keyboard, and he makes up a song that goes along with everything this person has just said. And it's phenomenal.
it is.
It's jaw dropping how what all he remembers. He's not taking notes or
Yes.
anything. He's just listening
Well,
and,
yeah.
and then just sings this thing and it rhymes and it's all about what the person was just talking about. And it just blows you away. Does it after every single speech.
And they don't sound the same. It's not like he does the
No.
same thing over and over again. It'll be different types of genres and.
He's making up the words and it all fits together just beautifully. He's a genius.
Have you heard him before, Emily?
Is it Ken Needham we're talking about?
Yeah, Medema, yeah, Ken Medema, yeah,
Yes.
he's amazing, so.
I hope he's still there.
No, he's listed as one of the additional people.
Me too.
But the woman who played the guitar, she's gone now.
Yeah, Solvig, I think, has gone back to Norway.
Norway.
Yeah, Solvig, I don't think will be
And
there
her
this
husband
year.
too, right? Who was the
I'm sorry?
Her husband, who was like the right-hand man.
Her husband, I think, is Ken Chaffee, and he's the one who
Yeah.
gives us the discount, so I think he's gonna be
He's still there.
president. I'm actually just gonna look and see speakers and artists. I didn't scroll down. If you scroll down even further underneath the speakers, then yeah, Ken Medema will be there, Jim Chaffee will be there. Yeah,
And they'll have other musicians coming too, I'm sure.
yeah. So we will get Ken. Have you heard him before?
Yeah, I was an undergraduate at Calvin University. and,
Oh, ah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we heard of way back then.
Yeah, yeah, he's remarkable.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Anything more we can do or say to convince you that this is worth your time?
So once you find out how many people, you'll decide about the rental vehicles. We went to rent a van for everybody and there was no way that we were all gonna fit in there.
Well, we could fit all the people, but not our luggage.
Not our-
So that was kind of problematic to leave your luggage in the airport, so we had to go back and get two vehicles. I think we're probably gonna have to do two vehicles again. I think that's gonna be likely it, you know.
Makes sense.
This is bringing back shades of memory to me of all the trips to New Orleans to,
Yes.
for rebuilding down there. And what a marvelous root building, you
Yes.
know, activity that was.
A memory forever.
And,
Yes.
and even the band and, you know, the airport, after that, but
Yeah,
I think just, you know, for that, it was we got so much out of it, even though we were there to help them, so.
yeah, so this is much more of an orientation around our own spiritual growth and
Right,
development
right,
than it is
yes.
around helping others, but I do think the content inspires upon return.
They also addressed the issue of, yes, things are in chaos and everything's a mess, but what do I do? What can I do? And they addressed that. And almost every speaker addressed that.
Well, and you saw that even in Jamar Tisby's little video that I showed, like, I'm gonna give you practical tips of what to do.
Can't change the world, but here's what you can do. So that was really, to me, was a very helpful voice to hear.
And the world is a whole lot more chaotic this year than it was last year.
Sadly so.
Yeah, we were on the brink last year, right? See, this was right at just before January 20th. I think it was
Right.
a week earlier.
Right, it was a week before the,
Started, just about to.
yeah, before the inauguration. That's right. So we knew it was coming. We didn't know it was gonna be as bad as it is.
Yeah.
We knew it was bad the last time. Yeah.
I have a mundane question, sort of. What's the weather like?
So last year, I would say it was probably in the high 40s to mid 50s. The last day we were there, when we went to the other island over, it was in the 60s.
Yes.
And we were like taking off our jackets,
It was
because
pleasant,
A light-
compared to where we were coming from, it was very pleasant, you knew
Not
you were in
heavy
the
winter,
south,
Not heavy.
not
winter.
at all,
But it's not. fall.
light.
yes, but it's not bring your bathing suit.
Right.
I mean, it's, you know, bring a sweater and a light jacket, because you may need to
Yeah.
wear something, particularly in the morning or in the evening.
Yeah.
And
Um,
as it gets closer, we'll see, you know, we need an umbrella with us or.
Right.
I spent 14 years visiting my parents on St. Simon's Island
Oh.
in January and February.
Oh.
My rule of thumb was whatever it's doing in Rochester, it's 40 degrees warmer in St. Simon. So if it's 30 in Rochester, it's 70 down there-ish. If it's 0, it's 40. So, but you don't have to shuffle.
No matter what, yeah.
So your parents lived on St. Simon's?
They rented in January and February every
Oh.
year for more than a decade.
So you know exactly where we're talking
Yeah,
about.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, great, Chris, that's great.
Anything else? Well, I'm gonna close this in prayer then. Let's pray. Oh, loving God, I thank you so much for the community that we have here. I thank you for the ways in which you call us to be a witness to your love and inclusion right here in Rochester. And I thank you for the opportunities that you give us to refill those wells, that we might be able to do that work in nourished and refreshed ways. I ask that whoever you have put it on their hearts to participate in this gathering in January, that you help make that happen. So that we may have the group we're supposed to have as we go down there in January. But if they are not called at this particular moment in time, I pray that you will put on their hearts to do whatever is the next right thing for them. Thank you for this time together. Thank you for the opportunities that you give us for spiritual and outreach growth. And bless us as we continue the journeys you have set us upon as individuals and as a community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.